What's up, my comic comrades? Last year, DC and Tom King rolled out a completely new take on the first encounter and battle between Batman and the Joker in the Batman the Brave and the Bold title, with a story titled The Winning Card. We covered the major beats across a couple episodes, but we thought it was important enough to bring you all the complete story from issues 1, 2, 5, and 9. As we mentioned in one of the previous episodes, Ed Brubaker wrote a version of the first meeting between these two in Batman the Man Who Laughs in 2005. But this new story expands on that, revealing exactly how Batman and the Joker's first encounter went down, and it is really good. But to give the news story proper context, let's look at Ed Brubaker's take in The Man Who Laughs. Alright, in Batman The Man Who Laughs, Ed Brubaker basically expanded upon the original 1940 Joker story in Batman 1 by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, rounding it out and giving us a fully fleshed out version of the first encounter between the Dark Knight and the Clown Prince of Crime. Anyway, the story starts off with Captain James Gordon, because remember, this is very early on in Batman and Gordon's career. Gordon and his officers stumble upon a building that is filled of disfigured, Jokerized corpses, like really nasty, disgusting looking corpses. Batman then arrives telling Gordon, some of these people have been dead for nearly a month. I think whoever did this is practicing on them, which isn't disturbing in the least. We then see a news reporter who is reporting on the reopening of Arkham Asylum after being shut down when its creator went crazy, unaliving everyone in the asylum with an axe. But as she continues to report, her face turns pale, hair turns green, and she develops a permanent grin as she falls over, with the Joker appearing behind her saying, "Good evening, Gotham and Gothamites everywhere. Thought I'd take some time out of my oh-so-busy schedule to say hi and make a few not-so-veiled threats. So hello, goodbye, you're all going to die." Joker then starts laughing, saying, "Sorry, sometimes I just kill me, especially when I think about killing you." But hey, before we get to the wholesale destruction part of our little terror experience, let's pick out a few of our favorite sons for a special shout-out. Henry Claridge, I'm looking at you, old boy, and your future looks dim indeed. In fact, if I were a psychic, I'd say that the bell would certainly be tolling for thee tonight at midnight. Oh, what the hell, I'll say it anyway. You die at midnight, Henry. And then we could all have a good laugh at your expense. Obviously, at this point, Gordon and his officers guard Henry at his estate that night. Batman even arrives, crashing through the skylight as Henry turns Jokerized. Batman takes a quick look at him, saying, he's dead, never had a chance, as the Joker has clearly poisoned Henry hours ago. With the SWAT looking at Batman like, what the hell, Captain Gordon, what should we do? Because remember, both Batman and Joker are very new to Gotham. But Batman does his thing and flees before getting into a confrontation with the GCPD. Now, while Gordon and Batman were distracted with Henry, Joker decided to let patients from the Williams Medical Center for the Criminally Insane loose on the streets and supply them with guns. Now, the story keeps getting crazier from here, but for the sake of getting to the point, ultimately Batman deduces the people Joker is targeting, like his second target, Jay Wilde, are people who have stake in Ace Chemicals, the plant that turned Joker into the Joker, with Bruce realizing this is Joker getting revenge on the people who made him this way, or who he thinks made him this way, as the Joker had no reason to break into the Ace Chemical plant in the first place. We also see in the story the Joker gets his name by the press, giving it to him in headlines of the Gotham Gazette, calling him the Joker. Joker even comments on it saying, hey, I've got to say, I like my new name. Funny that I didn't think of it. Anyway, after Batman puts together that the Joker's targeting people who have an affiliation with Ace Chemicals, he also realizes that Joker has poisoned Gotham's water supply to get revenge for his disfigurement at Ace Chemicals. Batman obviously shows up to stop him, saying, it's over, Joker, give it up. The Joker then says, all I have to do is flip this lever, the floodgates will open into the viaduct, and then Gotham dies. Batman tells him, I can't let you do that, with Joker saying, really? And how the hell do you think you're going to stop me? Batman just says this, as he rigged explosives to destroy the viaduct, blocking the water from getting into Gotham. This pisses off the Joker, causing a brief battle between the two of them, one that Batman ends pretty swiftly, with the Joker begging, saying, okay, uncle, you win, I'll kill them some other time. Batman then stands over Joker's body, saying, no, you won't. All right, now that we've got the foundation, let's dive into the winning card story in Batman the Brave and the Bold 1. The issue starts off in Gotham City Year 1 as Jim Gordon, who was captain at this time, is sent to the Claridge estate. Jim says this is a damn waste of everyone's time as he walks into the estate, continuing to say, this kid's got us running around like headless bloody chickens. There are real crimes happening in the city right now. Who the hell is helping those people if we're all here? One of his deputies responds, yes, Captain. I mean, right, Captain. We're then taken to Northeast Gotham at the railroads, where we see a man running away from Batman, shooting at him, saying, that guy earned it. You got no right to touch me. Do you think I'm afraid? As Batman throws a bowler wrap at his feet to tangle him, catching him. The guy tripped and hurt his leg pretty bad, so he's not able to stand up, but he keeps talking to Batman, who's not saying a word, just staring at him stoically as it continues to rain. He says, I'm not scared of you, man. There isn't anything in this city that scares me. Do you hear me? What are you looking at? As a train starts coming on the track he tripped on, but he can't move because his leg is broken. So he finally says to Batman, saying, okay dude, you gotta help me, I can't move my leg. Give me a hand, you gotta do something. But Batman just continues to stare as the man says, help, what is wrong with you? My leg's broke. Can't you see that that thing is coming and I'm not gonna make it? You pointy-eared idiot, save me. We then are taken back to Northwest Gotham at the Robinson apartments. We see a man on the phone with the police saying he called 4 hours ago about his missing daughter and still hasn't heard from anyone. Her name is Helen and she's wearing a green dress. He says, I lost her at Adams Park. Please get somebody on this. She's all by herself. We are then taken to Adams Park where we see Helen and a mysterious person who says hello to her off panel. She replies, I like your balloon, but you don't have an umbrella. That's probably not a real good idea, you know. You could get wet and get pneumonia and maybe your balloon breaks too. The person asks her, do you want to hear a joke? She replies, oh awesome, yeah, I love jokes. He then tells her a joke that clearly goes over her head and then says, come here, sit next to me. She does, and then he asks, if I give you my balloon, will you let it go? She says, no, I won't. We then get a full shot of who this person is, and we see it's clearly the Joker holding a balloon while saying, I also have a knife. But you can't have that yet. We are then taken back to the Claridge estate where Mr. Claridge tells the GCPD, you've got to protect me. I'm going to be killed. Robbed. The police tell him, don't worry, Mr. Claridge, you and that diamond of yours will be safe enough. We'll all stay in the same room where the diamond is kept and watch you. We then learn essentially all the GCPD is there because someone has threatened to kill Mr. Claridge at midnight and take his diamond. Jim Gordon believes it's a waste of resources, saying this is a paranoid goose chase. But one of his deputies says, you never know, Captain, you heard the boss. Just because the other one didn't turn out doesn't always mean the next one is phony. Hard to argue with. Jim replies while lighting a pipe, our great and powerful commissioner didn't spend a month working the reservoir the last time this fella called in a threat to the radio. A month of testing and searching and investigating and coming up with nothing. I'm going to poison all of Gotham's water tomorrow at dawn. I'm going to kill Henry Claridge and steal his precious diamond tonight at midnight. This so-called Joker is probably a 12-year-old kid getting his kicks by making us eat our own tails. We are then briefly taken to Wayne Manor, where Alfred has to make an excuse as to why Bruce Wayne isn't showing up for one of his gatherings at his home. The book then takes us back to Batman at the railroads, where we see he doesn't help the guy, but the man is able to barely dodge the train himself. As he yells at Batman saying, what are you gonna do now? Go back and tell her you tried but you couldn't do it? I'm still here. Not that she will have anything to say. I finally shut her bloated painted mouth. But Batman still doesn't say a word and follows the guy who was hobbling away. The man ultimately says, I'm a good person. I deserve some justice. But obviously he's not a good person, so Batman finally answers him saying, yes you do, while stomping his face into the ground. Elsewhere we see the Joker has brought the little girl Helen to an unknown location where he tells her it's still raining. I fell into a vat of acid and burnt off my skin. This is all that was left. As she looks at a bunch of crazy drawings he has on the wall. She asks, did it hurt? Like real bad? When you were in the acid? He replies, yes. She says, oh, I'm sorry. I fell real hard once and my knee was all red. It's not the same as white, but it hurts too. He tells her, you don't have to be sorry. I look back at it now and laugh. He then asks, what time is it? Do you think it's midnight yet? And when it strikes midnight back at the Claridge house, we see Claridge starts choking as he dies with blood coming from his mouth. Gordon tries to give him CPR, but Mr. Claridge just dies with a bloody grin on his face, and the diamond is also missing. We're then taken back to Wayne Manor to Bruce's party, where he's greeted by the man who was asking Alfred for him earlier. He says, Alfred made up a story that you were puking your guts out, but we know that's not true. Where were you? Bruce looks at him and says, let's just say I was looking for a demon and I found him. I always find him, as we see his eyes go to the white Batman eyes, with the man asking, what? We're then taken back to Helen's dad, where we see the Joker brought Helen back to the apartment with him saying, oh, thank God, thank you, my baby, you're home, are you okay? Helen says, Daddy, you and Mom were fighting and I just didn't want to hear. And then it was so dark and I didn't know what way to go. And he found me and gave me a balloon, and we got out of the rain and it stopped and we figured out where to go. Helen's dad just embraces her as she says, I'm fine, he helped me, he's very nice, he saved me, and he likes to laugh at everything. He says his name is Joker, which is probably why he does. Her dad puts his hand out to the Joker saying, thank you for finding her, I owe you everything, seriously, thank you. I was crazy, no one would help me. I thought you don't even want to know what I was like. You are Joker, thank you. But the Joker just stabs him in the stomach right in front of Helen, with her crying saying, Daddy, what's wrong with him? Why is he red? I don't get it. Joker just looks at her saying, don't worry, you will, everyone will. As she lets go of the balloon with the Joker laughing. But that's the end of issue 1, so let's get into issue 2. Issue 2 of The Brave and the Bold starts off with the Joker threatening to kill Mr. Wilde, much like in The Man Who Laughs. You're gonna notice some similarities between the two stories, but a lot of differences as well. Anyway, Mr. Wilde is convinced that even with Gordon and the GCPD at his house, the Joker is still going to kill him, with Wilde panicking and freaking out, telling Gordon, that psycho is going to murder me. I know it. I have kids, young kids. I have a wife. I'm not ready. Gordon says, calm down, you're fine, as Mr. Wilde gets hit in the neck with a poison dart as the clock strikes midnight, with Joker gas coming out of the medieval armor that Wilde has in his house. The Joker gas knocked out all the officers in the room, with Gordon trying to tell Wilde, move, I promised you. You wouldn't die. But Gordon isn't much help as the gas is paralyzing. We then see that there's someone inside of the armor, and that someone is the Joker, who picks up the knight's sword and starts hacking the officers. It's literally a bloodbath. A paralyzed Gordon even says, I don't know if he ever used one of those before. It took some time. He'd hack into one guy and move on to another, then realize that the first guy was still breathing and go back and hack again. He seemed like he was having a lot of fun. He then makes his way to Gordon as we see Gordon is telling this story to Batman. He continues to say at some point the armor was in the way, so he took it off. When he got to me, he stayed for a second, said he liked my mustache, and started laughing. Never heard of a more cruel, dry sound, like someone chewing on styrofoam. He left me, moved on to two guys next to me, popped their eyes out with the tip of his blade, then turned back to show me the bloody eyeballs in the palms of his hand before he started juggling them. And people wonder why Joker is the most infamous villain of all time. Gordon tells Batman Joker isn't some criminal to be pursued by a badge, using police procedures to get a handle on what he's doing. I gave that farce a whirl. Now I got to arrange for 8 funerals, all closed caskets. Basically, Gordon continues to allude that he needs Batman to find and stop the Joker. So Batman heads back to the Batcave and gets an idea. He calls up Gotham City rich tough guy Brute Nelson and basically uses reverse psychology on him to get him to call out the Joker, as Bruce says the guy who kills the Joker will be the most famous and toughest guy in Gotham, knowing full well Nelson will do just that, with Batman being close by to take down the Joker when he arrives. The cool thing about this is Tom King actually is bringing back Brute Nelson. This is not a character of his own creation. Nelson also appeared in a pre-crisis Batman story, who in said story also wanted to take down the Joker. Elsewhere in North Gotham, Nelson waits for the Joker in his mansion, as he did what Bruce tricked him to do, calling out the Joker, saying he ain't scared of the Joker and he's going to wait for him at his house on Friday. If he's still alive at midnight, the Joker is a punk. Except he didn't say punk. The Clown Prince of Crime ultimately shows up, with good old Nelson getting scared and shooting him in a panic as the Joker charges towards him with a kitchen knife. But the Joker doesn't fall, taking all the shots to center mass, tackling Nelson and stabbing him right through the hand. At this point, Batman intervenes, picking up Joker by the collar, saying, Joker, as we begin here, I want you to know 2 things. First, I know you. You are not special because you paint your face. You're a criminal, superstitious, and cowardly. I am not scared of you, as he throws Joker down on his face. Batman then walks toward him, continuing to say, Second, I am Batman. I am vengeance. I do not coddle criminals. I punish them. You should be very scared of me. You're wounded, dying. Lie down and I'll take you to the hospital. Fight and I'll take your kneecaps out of your legs. Your choice. But the Joker, being crazy, just jumps out of the 3rd-story window, with Batman following suit. The Joker then somehow was able to get up and steal a car from a nearby driver. Batman then uses his grappling gun to latch onto the car, dragging Batman behind it, at which point the Joker starts swerving to mess up Batman. Joker is able to swerve in such a way that he hits Batman violently with the car. The Clown Prince of Crime then gets out, walking over to Batman, who's lying on the floor, but Batman just looks up saying, I'm not scared, you're just a pathetic freak. As Joker starts kicking Batman, Batman replies, you're pathetic. Pathetic, with Joker ultimately kicking Batman off the bridge. And that's where issue 2 leaves us. Issue 5 of the series starts with the Joker at a carnival where he's licking a lollipop before walking into an empty porta potty, climbing inside the toilet. Perfectly normal. Nothing weird going on there. At this point, a dude comes running into the porta potty who apparently has explosive diarrhea because all the fried food he ate mixed with the tequila he drank. He then tells his friends, I'll be out in 2 seconds. There's death in here, referring to the smell, but little does he know there's literally death in there, as we see Joker's face peering out of the toilet water while he's holding a knife. I suppose he was waiting for the eclipse, if you will. Joker then walks out of the porta potty with a bloody hand after we hear screams come from inside. I don't even want to think about where he put that knife. Elsewhere at GCPD headquarters, we see Captain Gordon waiting for Batman as he turned on the bat signal. We are then taken to Wayne Manor, where we see Bruce badly bruised and bandaged up from his previous battle with the Joker, as Alfred asks, and just where, if I may be so bold to ask, are you headed, Master Bruce? Bruce replies, don't. People are dying. Alfred tells him, yes, they are. It is quite tragic and most horrid. But I fear I must inquire. In your opinion, you joining them in their graves, that would be helpful? Bruce says, I'm done resting. Move. Alfred replies, you have a fever. You have many broken bones and even more torn muscles. You are not resting, you are healing. So that when you are capable, bold, and brave, you might actually be able to put a stop to these hideous atrocities. Bruce then goes to punch Alfred, but he moves and hits the grandfather clock, at which point he falls to the ground. Alfred then tells him, sir, I'm sorry to inform you, but it appears you have been bested by an elderly manservant and a clock. Alfred puts out his hand, saying, your father was the greatest doctor I have known. Even he did not save every patient. Yet still, he studied, he rested, he slept, knowing he might still help the next one. We accept our limits or we go mad. Bruce grabs his hand, saying, finally, we agree on something. Elsewhere, Joker is up to more shenanigans on the Novik Expressway, as he somehow made his way into the back seat of a mom's car, sitting next to a little boy in a car seat as he waves to the mom through the rear view mirror. The little boy then yells "Mommy" as the car flips over, tumbling down the expressway, with the last panel showing us Joker still waving in the reflection of the rearview mirror with blood all over it and the rest of the car. Then back at the GCPD headquarters, we see Batman meet up with Jim Gordon. Despite his injuries, he tells Jim he robs some and just kills others. Makes announcements for a few, then murders the others randomly. Why? Jim, who's getting out of the car, says, "No hello, detective. Here's where I've been, detective." But Batman doesn't even acknowledge his statement, saying it's not about the money or the announcements. A joke is a broken pattern. One, then surprise and laugh. He steals for a setup, then murders for the punchline, for the hilarious shock. But Batman is coughing while trying to talk to Gordon and eventually falls over. Jim walks over saying, "Damn it, what do I do?" As he sees a radio on his utility belt, Alfred speaks through it saying, "Please place him in the car and step away." Jim says, "I don't think you understand. There's no one in the car. We're here alone." And he's not driving anywhere in this state. As Alfred remotely opens the door to the Batmobile, Gordon says to himself, "You've got to be kidding me." We are then taken to Central Gotham in Crime Alley, where Joker is yet again murdering someone as the man pleads with him. Once Batman makes it back to the Batcave, Bruce tells Alfred, "I tried you. Now you try me. Hit me." Alfred says, "So shall we wait another hour for tea then? I personally am getting a tad peckish, but I suppose your schedule is more deserving of deference than my own." Batman tells him, "You're not an elderly manservant. I know what you did for Queen and Country. Now do it for me. Alfred, please. I can't have it happen again. I can't collapse when I'm trying to save them. I need to be better." "You're right. If I want to go out there and face him, I must be," as Alfred decks him right across the jaw. He falls over, wipes away the blood, and Bruce says again, and he keeps having Alfred punch him while saying every day he goes out and finds another one, a mother, a father, a child, every day I let him. Basically, Bruce has lost it, and this is his crazy way of forcing his body to stand up to pain and punishment. Back at GCPD headquarters once again, we see Jim Gordon and the police chief getting a new threat letter from the Joker saying, "Judge Drake, you once sent me to prison. For that, you will die. Death will come at 10. The Joker has spoken." Gordon says, "I'll get the signal up. Get a team over to Drake's." The chief says, "You'll do no such thing. You and your silly mask man have already let 3 of Gotham's first citizens die. There won't be a 4th. You will stay home. There will be no contact with the Batman. I'm handling this personally." Once Gordon leaves, the chief goes into his coat closet in his office and says no as he sees the Joker in there waiting for him. The Joker may be even more stealth than Batman. It's kinda nuts. We are then taken to Drake's residence where Mr. Drake says it's 9 o'clock with the police chief just staring at him as the two play cards. Mr. Drake says, "I need the ace of spades to make the game." As the chief picks up a Joker card, we see it's not really the chief, but the Joker who quickly kills Mr. Drake. The Joker disguised as the chief leaves, and one of his deputies says, "That's 10, Chief. No sign of the Joker anywhere. You looking at anything odd in there?" But he just walks out saying nothing, with the deputy saying, "Everything all right, Chief?" But the chief or Joker just gets in the car as he hears the police dispatch. We got a 10:54 on Arrows. Joker's on the loose, probably in the area, probably fleeing. The issue closes with Joker driving away in the police car as we see Batman pull behind him, tailing him in his Batmobile. Now let's move on to the story's finale in issue 9. Issue 9 picks up with Batman back in his Batmobile. As he's driving, Alfred calls saying, "Sir, I woke this morning to find my deeply injured and still recovering patient no longer in his bed. Searching for him, I went to the cave and noticed that the car was similarly absent. May I assume both man and vehicle are in one another's company, off on some fool's errand?" Batman replies, "Yes, Alfred, I have the car." Alfred then tells him, "And is this the wisest course of action, sir, in your estimation?" Batman says, "I'm better. I'm fine." And Alfred, being his sarcastic, awesome self, says, "Oh, I am certain you believe that, Master Bruce. Whether it is in fact true will be between myself and whichever police officer accompanies me to identify your body." As we see Batman continuing to chase down the Joker, who's in a stolen police car. The Joker ultimately drives over spiked strips that blow out his tires, causing him to crash into a tree. As Joker crashes into a tree, Batman tells Alfred again, "I'm fine," with Alfred saying, "Are you? Do you wish me to list the current maladies from which you are suffering? I might do it alphabetically, or simply start at the toes and continue to the tippy top of your head." God, I love Alfred. Batman ultimately says before getting out of his car to walk over to the Joker, "Why don't you put the T on, Alfred? This won't take long." With Alfred replying, "Yes, Master Bruce, just please come home safely." As Batman walks over to the Joker, he says, "It'll be easier if you stay still. I don't want to hurt you." But when he gets to the crashed police car, he sees the Joker is no longer in there as he starts hearing laughter in the woods. Batman then threatens Joker, saying, "When it's over, you'll think on this moment now, how I offered to do it painlessly. You shouldn't have moved. I know their names, every man, woman, and child you killed. For the rest of my life, I will recite them each night. And I'll remember who did it, who has to pay for their blood. you, all while the Joker is laughing out of sight. Then on the next page, we see the Joker surprise attack Batman with a knife, jumping on top of him, slashing him repeatedly while laughing. Batman, of course, is able to get back up and starts beating the ever-loving crap out of the Joker while citing all the names of the people the Joker has killed. Once he knocks the Joker to the ground, he says, "Never again, not one more name. You hear me? You're done." But Batman realizes during the fight, Joker was able to stab him right in the stomach with the knife still sticking out. But as the adrenaline starts to wear off, Batman passes out with the Joker now standing over him. The book then flashes forward to later with Batman waking up to Alfred on his radio saying, "Sir, please, can you hear me? Please respond. Say something. Sir, it's been hours. Are you there?" Batman finally replies while pulling the knife out of his stomach, "Yes, I'm here." Alfred then says, "Oh, thank the Lord. I was able to locate the car, but your signal is not transmitting in these woods. Are you all right? Do you require assistance?" Batman says, "I'm fine." Alfred asks, "And this maniac, sir? Did you find him? Is he with you?" Batman replies, "Yeah," as we see Joker sitting up against a tree right next to Batman. Alfred keeps asking if Batman needs assistance, but he just tells him, "Go home. Take the car with you. Go. I'm cutting comms." Batman stands up while continuing to pull the knife out, telling the Joker, "Someone told me once, when my father went fishing, he'd always bait his own line. He figured if the worm has to die, he's going to do it himself. Show some respect, some honor to the worm. You see, you honor a worm, you honor the world. But it seems to me, honor or no honor, the worm's still dead." As he points the knife to the Joker, continuing to say, "I told you shouldn't have moved." But the Joker starts laughing while picking up a dandelion. Batman continues to walk towards the Joker with the knife in hand. Is that funny? I don't know. Maybe I don't get the gag. Maybe you could explain it to me, as he stomps Joker's face to the floor. But the Joker just keeps laughing. Batman then picks him up by the throat saying, "No, that didn't help. Maybe we could try again. I'm willing to keep going if you are." But Joker doesn't stop laughing, with Batman eventually saying, "Maybe it's just me. Maybe you and I just like different jokes." So Batman says, "Here's one that really gets me, that I really think tickles my funny bone. The other day the Batmobile wasn't starting, so I brought it into the shop. I asked the mechanic to check the battery, and he looked confused. Looking around thinking about it, finally he looked back at me and said, 'All right, I give up. What the hell's a Terry?'" Batman then starts laughing uncontrollably at the Joker, bringing a knife down on him, with the Joker saying, "You're insane." Obviously, as a reader, that puts things in the exact opposite position that we usually see them with Batman's interaction with the Joker, which is a fun twist. After Batman seemingly kills the Joker with a knife, which we know is not the case as the Joker is still very much alive, the comic jumps forward a little bit in time where we see Bruce and Alfred fishing on a lake, with Alfred asking, "He simply sat there and reposed and watched you for hours?" Bruce responds, "Wasn't much choice in it. In the last days, he's been shot at half a dozen times, broken a half dozen more bones. He'd gone as far as he was able," referring to the Joker watching Bruce as he was unconscious. Alfred says, "You actually believe that boulder dash, or do you just enjoy muttering it to impress the wind and the fish?" Bruce tells him, "He put the knife in me. I bled. I passed out. When I woke, he was there, so I put him down. I don't believe in much more beyond that." But Alfred knows better and tells Bruce he wanted something from you. That's why you're alive. And Alfred was 100% correct, because Joker would go on to be Batman's greatest rival, and Joker would prove he just likes toying with Batman. He loves Batman in a sadistic way. Bruce tells Alfred if he wanted me alive or wanted something from me, he didn't tell me. Didn't even giggle at my joke. But Alfred just looks at Bruce saying, "And you know what else, Master Bruce? I believe you wanted something from him as well. That's why he's alive. In fact, I'd wager you both desire the same exact thing." Alfred basically goes on to tell Bruce, "Look, at first I thought you were crazy for trying to be this vigilante savior of Gotham City. But then I saw all the good you were accomplishing and thought Master Bruce might accomplish what 10 generations of Waynes had attempted and failed. He might leave Gotham in a better place than when he came to it. But then these last few weeks, seeing the Joker rage across our streets, it occurred to me that I was right in my first impression. That this city cannot be redeemed, and you are not the long-awaited savior, but merely another victim of terrible madness. When you were with him, sir, when you peered into his eyes, did you not see something ever so familiar?" Basically saying there's too much evil in this world and in Gotham City for Batman to fix, and that people just like the Joker will always be there. But more so than that, Batman is just like the Joker, but on the other end of the spectrum. While he fights for justice, he's still crazy and a victim of madness nonetheless. In any case, the comic then jumps forward again to Arkham Asylum, where we see Batman, of course, did not actually kill the Joker and is at Arkham with Jim Gordon, who is risking his job to let Batman see the Joker. When Batman gets to Joker's cell, which by the way, we see Joker draw a happy face on his window, Batman asks, "Why didn't you kill me?" Joker replies, "I could say the same about you." Batman tells him, "I'm not you, I'm better than you." Joker replies, "Says who? You think there's a God? There are rules after what you've seen me do? No, it's open mic night, everyone's equal. equal, all competing for the same laughs. You have your routine and I have mine. We'll see who satisfies. Batman tells Joker this is the beginning of something, the two of us. Joker says, I think so too. Batman asks, does it have to be? Joker just replies with the question, what's it, Terry? I've been mowing over that one. It got stuck in my head, almost like a knife. See, I'm not sure it really works. The part in the repair shop. I don't believe the mechanic would say that. He'd know what a battery is. And if you don't believe in the premise, then the whole thing falls flat. Batman tells Joker, I don't think you get it. But Joker replies, and I don't think you understand. I get it. I always get it. It's just not funny. Batman tells him, I could say the same thing about you. With Joker saying, now that I see what you did there, oh Batman, my Batman, brave and the bold, we're going to have such a grand time together, aren't we? As the book ends with Joker laughing. And that's the conclusion to Batman and the Joker's first meeting and confrontation. And that's the complete winning card story. It's a great reimagining of Batman and the Joker's first meeting. Let us know what you guys think of this story down in the comments, but other than that, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.